One of the questions that we've enjoyed asking our own kids season to season from time to time is the question, if we were to have a tragedy and we had a fire in our home, what is the one thing that you would grab and try to get it out of the house? And it's interesting to see how their priorities change from age to age. So when they were really little, of course, it was their favorite toy, probably a stuffed animal, maybe a Lego set. But then they get a little bit older, and our daughter, especially being the pleaser that she is, of course, her response changed to, my Bible, right? And then they get a little bit older and they start to recognize, wait, things can be replaced, but lives actually matter. So we actually just asked them this question not too long ago, and both of them named one of our 4 pets and then let us know that we had to get the other 2. So that's a great question to ask our kids, because we get a little bit of a glimpse into their lives and what they see as a priority. Now tonight at Kids Club Live, your kids learned about the calling of the disciples in Luke chapter 5. In the story, Simon Peter, his brother Andrew, and their friends, James and John, are all out fishing. Jesus arrives with a crowd of people that he's teaching. He steps out onto Simon's boat to teach the crowd, and then he instructs Simon to put his nets back out and see if he might catch any fish. Well, as the story goes, the nets were so full of fish that they couldn't even pull them in. It took all 4 friends to pull the big net of fish in. And it's in that moment that Jesus calls the disciples to follow him. In this moment, they have a choice to make. What are they going to do? They have all this fish, they have this business, they have their fathers, they have their families. But I love verse 11 because it says, they dropped everything and followed Jesus. They dropped everything. Now, I don't know if you've watched the show The Chosen at all, but we actually get to see this play out on screen, what this might have actually looked like. I mean, like I said, some of them left aging parents. Some of them left lucrative businesses. Simon was the one disciple that actually had to leave his wife for a little season. And so they made big sacrifices to make Jesus their priority. But it's clear it was difficult, but they did it because they recognized that Jesus is absolutely the most important thing. This kind of makes me think of another story from Scripture that actually ended differently. I think of the story of the rich young ruler. Now, this is a story that's told in 3 of the 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And what's interesting is if you read the 3 different accounts, they all give different details. A couple of the Gospels might tell you that he was young. A couple of the Gospels might tell you that he was wealthy. A couple might tell you that he was an authority figure, a ruler of some kind. But as the story plays out, he comes to Jesus and he says to him, I want to follow you. What do I have to do to be your disciple? And Jesus asks him, have you done this? Have you done that? And he says, I've kept all of the laws since I was a boy. I've kept all of the rules. And so Jesus says, there's just one thing left. Sell everything you have and follow me. And here's the one detail that all 3 Gospels dictate exactly the same. They all 3 say, the boy went away sad. He went away sad because in that moment, it was just too difficult and he couldn't make Jesus his number 1 priority. So here's our question as parents and as guardians and as caretakers for these kids, Jesus followers ourselves who are trying to make these young people Jesus followers. How do we keep them from walking away sad? How do we keep them in the presence of Jesus and remaining glad with him as our number 1 priority? I don't know what this looks like for you and your family, but let me give you a few ideas. Maybe it means getting up a little bit early so every single morning you can start your day as a family in prayer and in scripture reading. Maybe it means ending every evening as you put your kids to bed, everyone going around the circle and sharing a way or a place in which you saw God at work in your life that day. Maybe it looks like serving once a month with one of our ministry partners here at Christ Church, Fostering Hope or Watered Gardens or Life Choices. But do what you can do as lovers of these children. Do what you can do as lovers of Jesus to show them that he really is our priority. He's number 1. Because here's the truth of the matter. Life is so much simpler when there's just one thing, or in this case, just one person that matters most. So what can you do this next week, in the next months, in this next school year to make sure that your kids know in your home there's just one thing, and it's Jesus?